Everyone is talking about vibe coding. It's taking over Twitter, flooding YouTube tutorials, and even being covered in mainstream media. The idea is you can write a simple prompt and like magic, you'll have an app developed before your eyes. Can anyone truly code their own projects now? How do you get started? And is this the end of developers as we know it? This video is going to answer those questions and give you an overview of how you can get started vibe coding. But first, let's explain what vibe coding is. Here we are in Bolt.new, which is a vibe coding tool that allows you to write simple text here. So I wrote a prompt here that says I want to build a landing page for a SaaS product that lets me generate professional AI headshot photos. With vibe coding, you can just press go. Bolt is going to start the process of actually generating our app. It's going to think, it's going to come up with the features, the design elements, etc. You can think of it kind of like ChatGPT, but for building apps. So ChatGPT is just going to give you responses, maybe give you images. The output with Bolt is it's going to actually write the code and build a product for you. So as you can see, the AI is writing the code. So vibe coding shifts the developer's focus from actually writing the code, doing the setup, all of this kind of lower level work, to the higher level work of thinking about what features we want to build, thinking about what we want it to look like, and working with the AI almost like a co-programmer or as a product manager to make the app actually be generated the way that you want. And it's about trusting the vibe or intuition of the AI code instead of scrutinizing each line of code yourself. And you might be thinking, how can I trust the code that the AI has written, especially if you're not a developer? So there's a couple things you can do. One, you can work with the AI to ask security questions. Having some knowledge yourself of how apps work, how security works, how databases work is really, really helpful. Even if you don't understand the code, understanding the structure is really important, I think, to actually build secure apps that work well. And finally, you can always hire a person to review your code before launching and having real people use your app. So there are a few different things you can kind of think about. And I think as the AI continues to get better, it's going to have security built in. Just as a quick example, another vibe coding tool called Lovable just implemented something called Security Scan, which is going to tell you about potential security vulnerabilities you have in your app before publishing. So let's get back to Bolt. We're going to go to preview and we can see this is the landing page that Bolt generated for our idea. And it did this in one prompt. We didn't even have to edit it. We didn't have to do anything. Pretty amazing that you can build landing pages like this instantly without a design background or anything like that. So I've already mentioned Bolt and Lovable. Let me talk a little bit more about these vibe coding tools that you have available to you. So Bolt, as you can see, very simple. It does everything in the browser. You don't have to be technical at all, although being a little technical is helpful to understand how this all works. Lovable is a very similar tool to Bolt. They have similar features. I definitely recommend using both of them to see which ones you like the best. Bolt and Lovable both do a really great job. I think they both have a lot of integrations with tools like Supabase for the backend database, Stripe, things like that to actually build functionality into your app. So they're both really good in my opinion. And there are a lot of other tools popping up to allow you to do vibe coding similar to Bolt and Lovable. Another popular one is vo.dev. As you can see, they all look pretty similar in terms of what their landing pages look like. Then there's a couple products I'm going to mention that are a little bit more technical. There's Windsurf and there's Cursor. These tools are more like code editors. You can see all of the code. You have more access to everything. You have access to the specific models that it's using. But you're still letting the AI write the code for you. It's definitely not too difficult to transition from something like Bolt and Lovable to Cursor and Windsurf, but it does take a little bit more of a learning curve. And understanding how apps and code work is even more important when you're making that transition. But you do not have to know how to code to actually use tools like Cursor and Windsurf. And there are more tools like this, such as Cline, which, similar to Cursor and Windsurf, is more like a coding environment. But again, something that even if you're non-technical, you can use. And there are a lot of tools popping up like this. There is a lot of competition for companies to win this space because the market size is so big and the potential is so huge. You might be thinking, what can people actually build with these apps? Can you build anything that is actually useful. So I interviewed the founder of Imaginary Space, an AI agency, and you can check that interview out on the No Code MBA YouTube channel. And in that interview, Harry, the founder of this agency, talks about how they're making $100,000 in revenue building lovable apps. And you can see their packages here. They charge quite a bit to help build out a lovable app for you. Here's another example of someone who says they built a multi-million-dollar agency on the back of Lovable. So just an example of agencies that are built on top of these tools. Here's a tweet that I think sums it up really well. I see way more high agency product managers and non-technical people build and ship software with Cursor, Windsurf, Cline. They're able to build out a startup MVP. If you're not using these tools as an engineer, I fear that you're not going to be as effective as those who are. I myself have built out some simple apps using these vibe coding tools. Here's an app called cartoons.app where you can turn yourself into a cartoon or any image. Pets, for example, work really well. So I built this completely with vibe coding tools using Lovable and Cursor. I've also used Lovable to build really simple landing pages that I think look really good that I want to spin up quickly. So for example, here's a landing page that I use to sell sponsorships on the No Code MBA YouTube channel. So I include details about the channel and pricing and everything, and I just was able to use Lovable to create this really quickly. So for creating simple landing pages, I think it is a great use case as well. It doesn't have to only be for really complex apps. I'm confident that we're about to see a flood of really good vibe-coded apps that start making a lot of money. This has only been around for a couple months, and it takes time to build a successful business, so I think we're going to see a lot more examples of this very soon. So if you're looking for some quick tips to get started, I recommend using Bolt or Lovable. Create a simple landing page, maybe use both of them, use both of their free tiers. Create a simple landing page, a simple app, something really simple to start. See how they both work, see which one you like better. And then after that, continue building more and more features onto it. So use one of these tools. Don't start with Cursor or Windsurf. Those are a little bit more complicated. We have lots of videos on this channel to help you with that, but be sure to start with Bolt or Lovable. So do I think that vibe coding is going to take over engineering jobs? No, but I think it's going to change them. So like the tweet before that I shared said, I think if software engineers do not embrace these tools, then they're going to have a hard time competing with engineers that do. Now, if you're non-technical, you're going to be able to build things with Bolt and Lovable that are simple, but you need to have some technical ability, even if you're not a full coder, to actually build things that are more complicated and have more complex features. You're going to need to understand how apps work, how databases work, how security works, how APIs work. There's a lot of things that we cover on this No Code MBA channel to help get you up to speed. But if you're a complete beginner, you're just going to be able to build more simple things, which is still useful if you have a simple idea. But understanding kind of how things work, I think, is really important. Now, for developers, it's just going to allow developers to create more software. And in my opinion, it's going to increase the demand for developers because it's going to increase the demand for software. I think the demand for software is almost unlimited because people just want to keep creating more and more things, improving things. And I think that vibe coding is going to just make software engineers more valuable, not less valuable. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more free content like this. We have lots of vibe coding and no code tutorials, so check those out and subscribe. Leave a comment below if there's anything you want us to cover in the future. This video is brought to you by No Code MBA, an AI and no code learning platform. Click the link in the description. We're giving away $50 off to the first 25 people who click that link in the description. It's an AI and no code learning platform with dozens of in-depth courses taught by industry experts. Check it out if that sounds like something you would be interested in. And if you want someone to build your vibe coded app for yourself, this all seems interesting, but you don't have the time to actually build it yourself, we have a link in the description to an agency match where we will match you with an AI developer or agency that best fits your idea. So click the link in the description for that as well. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.